Beardo Benjo.
Hello there everyone and welcome to this week's Will It VR. Over the weekend we received an update for Vorpx, so now games that support DirectX 12 work within Vorpx. Really exciting. It means a whole host of new games has been kind of given to us that we can try using this fantastic piece of technology and our VR headsets. Very exciting stuff. With that update also came two quite high caliber profiles. The first was Stranding. Now I don't own Stranding. I don't know if the game is for me, the kind of thing I would enjoy, and it's still got quite a high price point at £55. The other profile, the one I'm checking out today, is Horizon Zero Dawn. Now Horizon Zero Dawn is a game I never played on the PlayStation. I skipped it. Don't know why, I skipped it. And I now have it on PC and this is where I'm going to play it. Today I'm going to try it for the first time in VR, and I'm hoping it's going to work really well. There have been a lot of reports online around the game not running particularly well straight away. It's only been out for a few days. I'm sure we're going to get patches, but I've heard that performance-wise, it's not great at the moment. So running the game and then running Vorpx and then running OBS and then running Oculus Mirror might really impact that performance that's already a little subpar, but we will see. The only way we find out is by testing it out. So I'm going to jump into Horizon Zero Dawn today using the new Vorpx profile, the new updated Vorpx, and I'm going to find out just how good that game looks in 3D VR. I'm sure it's going to look stunning. Let's just dive in and find out. Hopefully it all hooks okay. I haven't tested this before now, so this is the first time I'm testing it right now. Okay, here we are in Horizon Zero Dawn, hooked up to VR using Vorpx, and I'm back in space, floating around in cinema mode. This is probably my favourite backdrop for cinema mode. I absolutely love it. Now there is one thing you need to do to get Vorpx to hook to this game if you want to try it yourself. In your Vorpx configuration, where you select the VR headset that you have, you need to set that to Steam VR. If it's set to Oculus because you have an Oculus, or Vive because you have a Vive, the game will just crash. Every time it tries to attach, it will just crash. So make sure you change that to Steam VR and it should work for you, like it's worked for me. Now, during the opening cutscene, I noticed I was getting between 62 and 76 frames per second. It didn't seem to drop anywhere below 62. It was quite up and down. For the most part, it stayed above 70. But we'll see what that translates to when I get into the game. One thing to bear in mind, as always, make sure you've set your field of view all the way to the top. Now, these are my settings for the actual game itself. When you first run Horizon Zero Dawn on PC, it does quite a lengthy optimization check, and it landed my graphics on favor quality and stuck everything on high. Now, I can push that up even more. I probably would if I was playing pancake mode, but in here I'm going to leave that on high. I'm not going to test fate or tempt fate. I'm just going to leave it as high. Yeah, field of view at 100, graphics set to high. I haven't played with anything else. I'm just going to jump in and see what it looks like in VR. I'm going to go in on normal. Okay, so I can really see the 3D here in this cutscene. It's a little stuttery, but it'll be hard to tell whether that's just the game's performance issues or whether that's a Vorpx issue right now and kind of
quite the gatherer, aren't you, little bastard?
Overloading the system.
Find some more,
God, it looks beautiful. Alright, here I am floating in space, playing Horizon Zero Dawn on a giant 3D screen. Let me just take a little bit of time before I start running around to show you my settings, show you the Vorpx settings. Now, I'm playing the game in cinema mode, and I'm playing it in space, because that is my favourite way to play these games. In terms of 3D reconstruction, I'm using Z Adaptive. One thing to note, the game does display geometry, but it doesn't work. You can't move that up. The scale stays at 0, so it is just Z Adaptive or Z Normal. Now, traditionally, I leave it on Z Adaptive. It tends to be the best for these big open world games. Most open world games like this, I don't really feel like I ever need geometry, if I'm honest. I played Red Dead 2 in Z Adaptive, and it was wonderful. So Z Adaptive is what I'm going with today. And the rest of the settings are literally just to do with the big TV in front of me. You can curve the screen more, you can make it bigger, you can tilt the screen, etc, etc. So not a huge amount of settings in here that are going to impact the way the game runs. Z Adaptive is the only thing I really want to show you there. Now the game itself, I've got it set to favor performance. Now it's running at about 70 frames per second currently, but I am getting some kind of hitches. At the moment it seems to be running pretty well. But if I push it above anything higher than favor performance, you get these kind of hitches where it feels exceptionally framey. It will run smoothly for 3 seconds and then it stops for a second, and then smoothly for 3, stops for 1. It's a bit immersion breaking. But like this, if you set it to favour performance, looks fantastic, and I'm getting the 3D, which is really, really good. Aloy is kind of fully fleshed out, and as I say, these caves are going kind of deeper in. One thing to note here is, I'm sure people with PlayStation will see these videos of kind of Horizon Zero Dawn in VR and might say, well, I can do that with my PSVR, what's the difference? The difference with PC VR and what Vorpx does is it renders these games in a 3D space. So when you play these flat games in your PSVR, it's a big floating flat screen. When you play them in Oculus or Vive or Windows mixed reality headsets, you get depth, you get scale, you get 3D. That's what Vorpx does. So right now, although I'm playing the game on a big floating screen, it's 3D. It's like looking into a window. I can see down into the cave. All the kind of, they're not icicles, but all the cave formation rocks are at the distance and depth and size that they should be. And that's the magic of playing these games with Vorpx. It's that, oh, all those bats are coming towards me. Aloy's like fully fleshed out in 3D. It's a sense of scale and depth that you don't get from playing, obviously, on a flat screen. And you don't really get in PlayStation VR. Now, that's not me hating PlayStation VR. I love PlayStation VR. I think it's a fantastic bit of kit. But
what are the old places?
It's what Vorpx does to give these games 3D depth, scale, sense of, just a sense of kind of reality and a sense of immersion that kind of sets it apart. So just to clarify, you won't be seeing it, but I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn now on a giant 3D screen, and it feels like I'm looking into a window, is the best way I can describe it, because everything goes in and has depth and scale. Performance-wise, this is running really well now. Honestly, favour performance in the settings. I think it put everything down to low. But if you're playing it in VR, yeah, I put favour performance, so it stuck everything on low, basically. We'll see what it looks like when I get outside, but for me in VR, it looks absolutely fine. If I was playing on Pancake, on my flat monitor, I'm sure I'd pump that right up to Ultra. But I want performance in here over anything else, so...
Ross said to never go in places like this. But I have to
it looks
find a way
beautiful.
out.
Ah, bats! So, as always, you can change the view types for the game. So I'm playing in cinema mode. Honestly, I think that's going to be the only viable way to play Horizon Zero Dawn in Vorpx. You can switch it to full VR, and then it sticks to your face. And as you'll see, as I move my head, I'm moving the camera. So it's cool, but it's not really a viable way to play the game, because as you see already, I've like lost sense of where I am. Yeah, it's cool. It's very kind of immersive if you play it like this. Like right now, I feel like I'm right there behind Aloy, but I do have a bar along the bottom and a bar along the top. You could play it like this. The game itself has inbuilt HUD scale, so you can change the HUD scale to make sure everything kind of sits within your view. So you could play it like this if you wanted a completely immersive experience. This is probably the closest you'll get to kind of a full VR. But for me, either immersive screen mode, which is like this, which is a really big kind of curved screen, or the cinema mode are the best ways to play. I'll leave it in immersive screen mode for now.
A dead person.
A dead person!
There's something shiny there.
Oh, let's inspect it. Cutscenes are all rendered in 3D as well, which is really nice. What is that? It's like a little arrowhead. Don't just stick it on your head. Oh my god. You should never stick bizarre foreign metal objects to your head. Okay, so the outdoors areas look incredible in VR. The 3D is absolutely breathtaking. It just looks amazing, but it is a little bit too performance intensive. Just for a point of reference, I have an RTX 2080, i7, and 32 gig RAM, and this is hitching for me. It's not unplayable, but every now and then it will just really kind of hitch on itself, and you'll get like 1 frame a second. But when it runs, like right now, when it runs like this, it's beautiful.
Aloy, a machine's coming. Crouch and follow me into the
It's such a shame that it's got some performance issues. Because when it works, it really works. And it looks amazing.
There. Now stay low.
Little one.
No, Aloy. Such machines are called watchers. You must
Nice,
learn
let's take
to
it down.
avoid their gaze. If you are to survive in the wilds, I will show you. Listen close and do as I do. Stay still. Wait for it to pass.
Yeah, it's really struggling to kind of...
And follow me across the trail to that tall
It's
grass.
odd, it's very hard to describe, but it's... Because when it's running smooth like now, it's absolutely wonderful. But then it just struggles every now and then.
Let it pass.
Oh, what pass? Oh, there he is. Creepy little raptor.
Come, back this way.
Okay, so I've been tinkering with the settings a little more, just seeing if I can improve some stuff. I've actually limited the frames per second now to 30, and I'm still getting the
I
judder.
didn't see or hear you.
So I don't know if there's a way to completely eradicate that. It's not a deal breaker. It's not a game breaker. It looks amazing when it runs smoothly, but it's just those moments of like that, moments of judder that really kind of pull you out of the immersion, and it's frustrating because it looks so good
Who's that?
in VR and it looks so good in 3D
Ignore him.
But why is he up there?
that this would be incredible if it just ran better.
He's smiling at us.
Deb! Get back where you belong! Deb!
Yeah, get back where you belong.
Where are you?
Ignore him. We are outcasts and he is of the tribe.
Maybe he doesn't like the tribe.
And he is a fool.
Oh, it's such a shame. Look, honestly, I cannot emphasize enough how amazing this looks in 3D. I want to play this game like this, but I don't think I could because it's just not running smooth enough for me. I'm curious to see if it's running like this
There.
on the
See?
monitor.
These are called striders.
No. So on the monitor, just flat screen, it's running
Why'd you chase them off?
absolutely fine. I'm not getting any kind of judder at
Show you
all.
how some machines
That's
struggle if
existing
They detect you and run away.
almost entirely just within the headset. Yeah, sadly it's a Vorpx thing, it seems like. It's
Don't worry. We'll catch up with them further.
It's just
down
hitching
the
inside the
You'll see.
headset. I'm sure there's a way to fix it. I'm sure there's a way around it. Someone smart out there will probably figure it out. But just to clarify, I've got the game running on favor performance, so low settings.
Now,
I've
I want
limited
you
the
to find
frames
some
to
rocks that
30,
fit the cup of your hand.
and that hasn't
What?
fixed it. So I may as well put the
Do
frames
as I
back to
say,
60
Aloy,
because
and gather the rocks.
it really
I'll show you
hasn't
how to use
impacted it in any way, positive or negative. Right, so back to 60 frames because dropping it to 30 didn't fix anything. It really does feel like it's
Good.
a
That's it.
issue that exists because of the VR rendering and the 3D rendering, because if I pull the headset off and look at it on my monitor, it runs without any of the kind of the judders and the hitches, but running in here, it still has them.
do.
It isn't getting it right now, it isn't doing it right now, so it's just every now and then. There you go, there's a big one. So strange. I'll see how much I can play, and then I'll kind of sum up. It's a real shame. This is the best way to play this game. It looks absolutely stunning in here. I cannot say it enough. The 3D is beautiful. It's just a shame it's not running fantastically. Okay, I get to kill something now. Press RS to scan the strider. Okay. Hover over the ray. Okay, yeah. Tag it. Okay, tagged it. Okay. Turn that off.
On its back. Is that a weakness?
Yeah.
How did you guess that?
The device. It showed me.
That plaything? Stop playing games.
Well, it's clearly not a plaything,
Take
father.
down that strider. Target the eye or the canister. And if it charges, be ready to roll out of the way. Again!
You're going down. Yeah, take that. Nice. Cool. Okay.
You did well today. But
Thank
you
you.
have much to learn.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm only young.
We train again.
Okay.
What was that?
That boy. The one running the brave trails.
Follow Aloy, quick!
Oh my god. Yeah, it's such a shame. It's probably... it will be too annoying to play with these hitches. It's a real shame because it looks absolutely stunning. I'm just going to see if there's anything else I can do to fix it, because it is actually a deal breaker, I think, for me. It's too much. It hitches too often. Okay, so it's really, really strange. I'm looking at the game here on my monitor, and it's running exceptionally smoothly. I'm having no issues. It's, you know, it's not running at the highest frame rate currently, purely because of, I guess, I'm running so many different things. But it's not hitching at all. I could play it like this absolutely fine because it's not stumbling and stopping and stumbling and stopping. As soon as I look at it in my headset, it's a completely different experience. It's stopping constantly. It's dropping frames. It's not in a playable state. Now, I could have obviously recorded what I'm seeing on the screen, and shown you that. But that wouldn't have been a very true representation of what Vorpx is doing right now. Vorpx right now is pushing the game into VR, and it works, but it's not, in my opinion, it's not playable. It's not an enjoyable experience in there. If I try and sneak around in this, try and do this section, it's such a shame because it looks amazing with all the 3D, but you'll see in the video just how much it's kind of juddering. And it's constant now.
Can't let them see.
It's almost constant. Okay, I'm in an open world area now as grown-up Aloy. I'm going to run around and just honestly talk about how playable this is in VR. For me, currently, it's not good enough to be a viable way to play this game. When it works really well. Like right now, just here, it's running really smoothly, but it's still hitching. Especially if you see that, when you spin the camera around, it starts to hitch in a big way, and it kind of really slows down, and it's juddery. I've tried a huge amount to combat it. I've played around with the Vorpx settings, I've played around with the game settings. So I've tried in here, in the normal settings, I've tried dropping the display resolution right down. So I'm on 1280 by 720 currently. Field of view set to max. I've dropped my FPS limit to 60, so I'm limiting it at 60. So it shouldn't go above that to try and help the performance. I've played around with the graphics themselves. I've ran it on low, still encountered the same issues, and now I'm running it on favor quality, still encountering the same issues. Within Vorpx itself, I've tried a bunch of stuff. Crystal images turned to off. I read online that might help. Z Adaptive, I've dropped the 3D strength down a little bit. I've done a huge amount, and I'm still getting these kind of
He said we go hunting
hangs constantly where it doesn't
Where's he gone to?
quite. You can see it. It's really frustrating because the game looks absolutely breathtaking in VR. Inside Vorpx, it looks amazing. I would love to play the game like this. It would be my preferred way to play it. 100%. Because it just looks absolutely breathtaking. But performance-wise, it's just not cutting it. It's really strange because if I look at it on my monitor, I've said this a few times, if I look at it on my monitor, it's running amazingly. On the monitor, there's no hitching, there's no slowdown, there's no anything. It's just running smooth as day, and I'm having no problems. But in here, it's a completely different story. It's a real shame. I will have to test it when I'm not running OBS and I'm not running Oculus Mirror, and just see if it's a performance thing that I'm kind of overloading my PC. Shouldn't be, because I've played some pretty intensive games in VR in Vorpx and managed to get some fairly solid performance from them. This is unplayable at this point. I don't know what else to say. For me right now, this is unplayable. There's no way I could push through this. It feels like I'm getting like 2 frames right now. It's a real shame. Oh, I'm annoyed. I'm so annoyed because it's so good. It looks so good, but it's just not. It is not at the standard that it should be. for it to work in Vorpx at this moment in time. I'm not throwing shade at anyone that works on this. People work really hard to get Vorpx working, and it is not their fault. It's just I can't recommend this to people to go out and try right now because it is not up to that standard just yet. I don't know what to say. I don't know where the issues are coming because, as I say, it's running perfectly on my monitor. So I don't know what's causing this. It's beyond my knowledge, it's beyond my intelligence, I'm afraid, to kind of fix this one. Someone else might have the answer, and I'd love to hear it, but yeah, it's running really well on the monitor, and it's running like garbage inside here. This one, sadly, is a bit of a failed experiment. I may come back to this in the weeks to come, because, as I say, everything here is so new. Horizon's only been out since Friday, and it has some issues on PC. We know that. It's very performance intensive, and it's having some issues in terms of performing well on people's PCs. We understand that, we know that. Vorpx update only dropped this weekend to allow DirectX 12 and games like Horizon and Death Stranding to run. Also very new. There's a lot of newness running alongside each other here, and it's difficult to say where the issues are coming from. But it's running fine on my monitor, and it ain't running good in the headset. It's not one I can recommend right now. Technically, it will VR. It goes into your headset, and it looks stunning. But performance-wise, it just does not play. It feels like it's running in sub 30 frames per second. You'll get small chunks of time where it feels really smooth and it's running really well. But too often, it hitches and it slows down to a crawl, and it pulls you out of it. It makes it very difficult to play. I imagine in combat scenarios, in high-intensity scenarios, it would be almost unplayable. I cannot recommend it at the moment, but I will try it again in a couple of weeks, and I'll see if it's kind of got to the point where it's playable. I really hope it does, because it's a game that I would love to experience in 3D in VR. But right now, it ain't cutting the mustard. I'm sorry to say, I cannot get it to work. I've tried everything. I've lowered the resolution, I've limited the frame rate, I've lowered the quality of the game itself too low on my setup, and my PC shouldn't be running things on low. It is a bit of a beast. I've turned off settings in Vorpx like crystal image. I've turned that off. I've tried everything, and I can't get it to run well inside my headset. I tried, but I'm sorry I failed. I do have a couple of other VR videos coming out this week for things that I'm pretty confident will work absolutely fine, so stay tuned to those. And for this one, I will check up on it in a few weeks when patches have been dropped and when the performance is a little bit more stable. As I said, I do have more VR videos coming later this week, so fingers crossed they run smoothly. I'll see you for them, and take care of yourselves. See you later.